Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 2 Minute Warning on Twitch Sports. This is the high-paced American football podcast in which the time is in short supply, but the opinions are not. My name is Jez. I am joined, as always, by Matthew, my co-host extraordinaire. How you doing?
I'm good, but nobody calls me Matthew unless I'm in trouble.
No, I just thought I'd give it a go. I'd roll with it.
Absolutely.
I'd try something a little different today.
Why not? Why not? Why not? Yeah,
I'll
all good.
Do it again now.
Absolutely. It's been a busy old week with a new 3-year-old in the house.
Well, it's the same 3-year-old.
Well, it's
She's just a bit older.
She's a new 3. She's just a bit older. Yeah, so we've done the birthday bits the weekend and gone gallivanting to a different county, not a different country. But yeah. All good. Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing very well myself. Yeah, it's been a busy week for me. They all are. I'm just going to stop saying it's a busy week because it's more of a shock if life is quiet and I'm not busy. So busy is the norm. I'm going to stop saying it's been busy because it's redundant. But it's been a normal week. There you go. And I've done many things, and I'm this close to my first fitness target. Hopefully that will be smashed on Tuesday when I weigh in next. But
I've noticed you've been running.
I have. I've been running a lot. And my history with fitness, and I will tend to start some kind of fitness regime. Do it for about a fortnight and then call it quits because I'm lazy and I can't be bothered. But the program I'm into, I am 5 weeks into the program. But in actuality, I've just spread that 5 weeks out over 8. So I've been doing this for nearly 2 months now. And this morning's run was a continual jog for 8 minutes. 5 minutes walk, 8 minutes run, 5 minutes walk. And I never once thought in my life that I would be able to run for 8 consecutive seconds, let alone 8 consecutive minutes. So I am feeling pretty happy with myself at the moment. And 8 is the number of the day apparently, because I'm 800 grams from my weight target that I set at the beginning of this 8-week period. There's loads of 8s. It's weird. Why are there so many 8s?
There's something mystical about that, probably.
There is. 8 weeks. Yeah. Can run for 8 minutes. 800 grams to go before target. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go right, okay, I've hit my target. I'm just going to work on staying there. But very happy. And very excited to be chatting with you this evening on what is our first stream since this version of 2 Minute Warning, the me and you version of 2 Minute Warning, turned 1 year old.
It did. It flew by. It passed us by. But that's the unfortunate series of events because it's the off season or coming up to pre-season type thing with football. But yes, 1 year has passed and we are on episode 48. So Correct. Coming up to another big marker for us with 2 more episodes to go before episode 50. It feels a little bit like Star Wars, but that never went to 50.
Well, give it time. Disney are on it, I'm sure. So
they probably are.
In a few weeks, probably, we'll have our 50th Star Wars film. But it's going to take a little bit longer for us to get to 50 because we're only doing every fortnight or so at the moment.
Yes.
Schedule subject to change. We're working around the Formula 1 calendar, basically, or any evening races that take place. But more and more races that were supposed to be taking place in the evening are being cancelled. So we shall see.
The lovely viewers that are watching us tonight get to see me at least, maybe twice a week. So,
yes,
still
that's
good.
true. Yeah. Well, before we get going with the NFL, plug your upcoming project.
Yeah, so me and Research One, as a stalwart of the network, have decided to pull out all stops to give soccer, or as Reese would make me say, and I will have to say, football, from Thursday, a version of a new show. It's around Euro 2020. Yes, it's not Euro 2020. It's Euro 2021 because of COVID and it all been delayed. But yes, we're going to talk soccer / football, European football.
Kicky ball, round ball.
Kicky ball, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be
lie on the
interesting.
ground and try and draw a yellow card. That's its a full official title, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, roll around.
You're going to be my special guest on the when it comes to the Euro finals.
Yeah, I don't think Reese would be happy to have me on a soccer podcast because I would probably get him banned from Twitch. For the process, but yes, do check out, especially if you like the kicky ball, the round ball. Do check out Research One and obviously Matt. I've given them a shout out in the chat. You can find their Twitch channels there. And the European Championship is fast approaching. How far away is it now? Fortnight?
So we're no, actually, it kicks off this coming Friday.
Oh right.
So the 11th, yeah. So we got the first group game, the opening ceremony, Friday, I believe, Friday evening. So yeah, interesting. And it's not a game that interests me until Sunday, unfortunately, when England play Croatia. But that's me being English.
Yeah, there you go. So I won't try and entice Reese into some extra motorsports next Sunday. Then he will be busy already. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's going to be a full schedule. I think three games a day. So yeah, it's going to be a long haul.
There you go. And you're not. Just to be clear, you guys are not live streaming every game. You're going to pick and choose. The England and the Wales games, I assume, are the ones that you are going to.
Yeah, I think we'll see how it rolls and what games interest us. Like the big, stellar matches that are going to stand out for us as soccer fans coming up this next month, considering that runs 11th of June to the 11th of July.
Great, that's a long old time of things I have to ignore. Well, there you go.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I've given you the opportunity to plug a completely different sport. Let's get onto the sport for why we are here, and we're going to not only talk about the NFL today as well. We're going to discuss some other football business, but that's down the line. Let's kick off with our first topic of the evening.
Yeah, so we start this week continuing the story that has dominated this off-season, and it involves the Green Bay Packers and their mandatory minicamp opening on Tuesday. The key word here is mandatory, and the subject of this whole mandatory minicamp opening is, will quarterback Aaron Rodgers be there? What do we think? 2 minutes on the clock.
No.
Simple answer.
Yeah, no, he won't be there. And I say that not with anything to do with this Aaron Rodgers situation. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers would have been there without all of this drama, but he wouldn't have been doing very much. You don't put like your superstar quarterback, who is your starter come September, under fire in a mini camp long before you even think about training camps and the preseason and all of that. So even if he were to turn up, which he won't, he would probably get like 2 reps a day out of it. He would just be doing fitness and generally like hanging out with his teammates and helping the receivers. If he wasn't such a expletive, probably helping Jordan Love, his backup. But no, he won't be there, and it's just going to add to this entire drama. I'm going to love every second of it.
Yeah, it's a little bit like stoking the fire, like you said, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all develops. Yes, he's not going to show up to minicamp. There's probably no reason for him to show up anyway. With the career he has and the stature, why I say stature that he holds in that team, whether he holds any type of stature or any sort of power in that team anymore, with what's gone on. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a developing story between now and August and September. Watch this space and watch for the implosion and the toy throwing out of prams, etc., etc.
Absolutely love this. I never dreamed in my life that I would experience such an amazing implosion in not only the team that I hate, but the quarterback for that team that I hate equally as much.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers could go somewhere else and go to, he could go to the Bears. I'd still hate him. Even on the Bears roster, I would hate Aaron Rodgers. I don't like the guy at all.
Well, I've stuck at this for a year, and I've said last preseason I saw him playing in purple. I'm just going to stick by it. I don't care what purple he plays in, whether it's for flag football team in the States, to be honest.
You can go and do a PhD at Northwestern and play in purple there.
Exactly.
I'm sure that won't ruin his eligibility or anything. I don't know how that works. I'm sure you can go back. Anyway, the other main ongoing off-season kind of drama or story involving a player and not so much a wish to be traded, but an impending trading, was to do with Julio Jones being traded away from the Atlanta Falcons. And today, at about the moment that we had finished writing our prep for this show, and we had a completely different topic in mind for Julio Jones, we actually got the answer as to where Julio would be going. NFL.com's Ian Rappaport reported that the Falcons are trading Jones to the Tennessee Titans in exchange for a second-round pick. Is this a good trade? Are the Falcons getting good value for Julio Jones? What do you think? 2 minutes.
So yeah, it's a second-round draft at the very least. There's got to be something else involved here with the likes of the name of Julio Jones, one of the standout wide receivers in the league, going to Tennessee. It makes Tennessee a very interesting and very different monster this coming season. Yes, great for the Titans. They've got super good value for a great wide receiver. And I think that the Falcons are going to probably get more than we expect. So it's going to be a developing story for when the details come out this week. Little gutted for my Patriots because it was touted that he was going to go there. But hey ho, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, finding out what the full deal is going to be an interesting thing. But every other team but the Falcons held the leverage here, really. They knew that they really needed to get rid of Julio Jones because of salary reasons. They couldn't really afford to keep him going into this season. It had to happen by Tuesday, really, before their mini camp opened. So there wasn't really any leverage to say, no, we'd like more for him, because it only takes a few teams to turn around and say, no, it's okay, thanks very much. And they don't get to trade him at all, and they just end up having to cut him and get zero value. Yeah. So they probably could have got a first under different circumstances if they'd have pulled the trigger a bit earlier, i.e. the end of last season, or when free agency opened. Yeah. And went after it a bit more aggressively, it would have been different. But he fits into that Titans team beautifully. That's going to be a a contender to watch, I think, with Julio there too.
Yes, it's like I said, it makes them a different beast, doesn't it? A different monster
Yeah.
with him at wide out. But
Bazinga
yeah,
Ludlam, welcome. Could not be happier. This story is over. No more Julio to the 49ers chatter on social media to listen to.
yeah, the Julio Jones name's just been floating everywhere. I mean, 49ers, Patriots were mentioned, Colts were mentioned. I don't think there was a team that wasn't really mentioned in contention to sign Julio that had the cap space. But there we go. Yes, story over. Let's wait for the details to break down this week.
Well, let's see him in what's that? Pewter Blue, I think they call that in Tennessee.
Yes,
in their mini camp this week.
Yeah, there's been mock-ups of him in the Titans uniform already this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So they're calling him cold as ice. So there we are.
And I think the most excited person in Tennessee isn't quarterback Ryan Tannehill. It's actually AJ Brown, who will be on the opposite side of the field to him. And I think AJ Brown knows that means that Julio is now the number one target, and now AJ Brown won't be quite as covered as he was, and that's going to mean better things for him on the field. So
absolutely,
we went way over 2 minutes there. Over.
We did, but it was warranted. I feel, because it's been a rolling story the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, one of us should have called the timeout, really, but there you go.
Yeah, we'll save it for some other day. Or some other topic. But yeah, we move on from the NFL briefly in non-NFL news, and we take in and that it is an exciting announcement that the USFL is to make a return in 2022. Now, personally, wasn't too aware of USFL. That's my oversight. But you know a bit about it. I've done a little bit of dig into it. Let's put 2 minutes on the clock and discuss the USFL return in 2022.
So yeah, I know a fair bit about the USFL, and it's because of a 30 for 30 documentary. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically like the rise and fall of the USFL. And I'm probably going to have to use my time out in this topic because I've got a lot to say about it. But the original USFL was working. As a spring league, it was working. But the powers that be within it, and the power was spread between all of the team owners, they got a little greedy and decided that they would like to go head-to-head with the NFL in the fall. So it no longer be a spring league, but be a competitor to the NFL in the autumn. The main person that was the downfall of the USFL was a person who is now the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. Donald Trump owned the New York team and was a very vocal proponent of them competing with the NFL because Trump had a grudge against the commissioner at the time of the NFL, and so he wanted to try and bury the NFL. Now, I don't think this time they'll be so stupid to try and take on the NFL. There are a lot of questions around this, though, because, first of all, the man who was the last executive director of the USFL, Steve Earhart, immediately went onto social media and reached out to various media outlets saying, I don't know how they're going to bring back the name USFL and all of the team names and all of the assets around it when those rights are owned. There is still a bank account for the USFL. They still get the odd royalty every now and again. And timeout. So Fox, who have a minority stake in this now, may have taken on more than they bargained for and may not actually be able to call this league the USFL, which might be fine. But the other aspect of this is that it's the other kind of brainchild behind bringing the USFL back is the CEO of the Spring League, which is a league that we've briefly touched on this show before.
Yeah.
It's currently being played now. It's not very good. I have actually caught a few games since the last time we were on. It's not great. It certainly isn't anywhere near the caliber of the XFL, the Spring League from last year, and will be a Spring League again next year. So what happens to the Spring League now that their CEO is in charge of the USFL? There's a lot of questions. Just because it's been announced, I'm still not 100% convinced it will happen, but I hope it does. More football can only be a good thing, even if we've got the XFL and the USFL playing at the same time next spring. You've got 50 seconds for yourself.
Yeah, it brings about that competition that may be needed, and will probably spark viewership war, or maybe not. TSL in its current format, like you said, isn't great. I prefer the XFL. I've watched a couple of the I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, the IDFL, the Indoor Football League, which is a bit more explosive than the TSL. Yeah, it's football. We all love football. More is better. Let's just see how this rolls. We got a good couple of months to see the details coming out, so let's go.
They suggest things are going to move quickly and we're going to get team names pretty soon, and they're even going to start selling the merch for these teams.
Wow.
By the time, the NFL kicks off in September. So we shall see. I think the only way that happens if it's a kind of rebranding and repackaging of the Spring League, personally.
Yeah.
But there you go. And I've dropped into the chat the 30 for 30 ESPN documentary that I was talking about. It's called Small Potatoes, Who Killed the USFL. It's a very good documentary, as are pretty much all 30 of those original 30 for 30 films. I highly recommend that series. It's very good. So check it out. Learn a bit more about the USFL and add more reasons to your list of why Donald Trump is a
plonker.
Very, very well family-friendly said there, Matthew. Good job.
Absolutely.
I was at a loss of how to say it without having to go back and do some editing and bleeping later. So.
I saved it.
Now, I hope you can maintain similar restraint in our next topic, because it's about your New England Patriots. And, at the moment, it can be a bit of a touchy subject, I know. But one of the more intriguing quarterback battles of this off-season is in New England, with Cam Newton and Mac Jones competing for the starting spot. And during this week's voluntary off-season program, Newton was unable to finish the practice due to an injury. He suffered a slight bone bruise after knocking his hand on another player's helmet. Does this hurt Cam's chances to hold on to his start? 2 minutes.
Well, a bone bruise, yes, it stings like crazy and it can hurt like bejeebus. But, it gives Mac a chance to build up confidence. It gives him a chance to build up much needed rapport with what is going to eventually be his O-line. It'll change. It'll chop and change like it does every year for pretty much every team. But Cam Newton has come through adversity prior, and this is not a critical situation. It's a bruise on a bone in his hand. He will be QB1 unless he gets another injury that's more significant between now and pre-season / regular season. What do you think of it all?
I'm in two minds. The rational part of me says, no, it's not going to make a difference. They have anointed Cam as the starter to give Mac Jones that year possibly to develop.
Mhm.
But I've also seen this go the other way in other teams, and sometimes if somebody is put to the side for some reason, and it gives the young upstart a chance to come in and do well. If they see too much potential from Mac Jones, he controls that offense brilliantly. He is proven to be able to run their playbook and to be able to carry that team. Then maybe Mac Jones supplants Cam Newton, moving through further mini camps and into training camps. So, on one hand, no, I don't think it hurts Cam, but on the other hand, it probably could have been something that he did without.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome in those that have joined us in progress. Wesley Chatting came in just before the USFL topic. Jaeger came in during, and Lane Day just coming in. Welcome in. How are we all doing? We're just about to head to our commercial break, as is mandated by the gods of Twitch. So stay with us. When we come back, we've got more news to get you caught up with everything in the NFL. And you've even got some British American football.
I do,
about.
yes.
So, stay with us. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. Welcome back to 2 Minute Warning. We are ready to tackle some more topics 2 minutes at a time. But first of all, untimed, the floor is yours. I believe you have some British news for us.
I do, and with the British American football season in England currently rolling, and the season in Wales, because it's separate, and that's not rolling quite yet. We have had a couple of friendly game scores, which are classed as pre-season or during season for a couple of the teams. And I start with today's scores that I got in, and that comes from the Gwent Gators, and they are down in near Newport, South Wales. The Keynsham Kings, who are from the Bristol, Bath area, took the long trip down the M4 to do battle. Gwent split into two teams, like they are doing for the BAFA National League season, into the Blues and Oranges. And they can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not too sure if any of them will be listening anyway, because they don't like me, because I play for a different team. Anyway, so yeah, I believe the Blues, which are their, I don't want to call them first and seconds, but I'll call them A and B teams. It sounds nicer, or maybe it doesn't. But yes, the Blues beat the Kings 26 points to 20. And then in a reverse round, the Oranges played the Kings, and the Kings beat the Oranges 18 points to 12. Yesterday, my Swansea Hammerheads travelled down to Reading, so it was a long old trip. First thing in the morning down to Reading. The first game on the cards was a battle against a Premiership team, which is a step up from where the Hammerheads currently play. However, the Hammerheads came out victorious, 19 points to 18 against the Reading Devils. They then went on to play a new team that's affiliated and coming into the British American football scene, the Woking Whirlwind. The Hammerheads were victorious again, 41 points to 14, so came away from Reading with 2 wins. And in the third fixture of the day, the Reading Devils played the Whirlwind, with the Devils winning 35 points to 7. So, yes.
Very well done.
Productive day for my Hammerheads. Productive day for all these teams involved in pre-season and in-season friendly games. So, yeah, it's nice to have football back at what is flag level, and I know contact football is coming back as well, which is good to see. It's good to get out, good to get these guys back to playing competitive sports. But yes, you have experience in flag football.
I do, but all the teams are completely different to when I was playing a very long time ago. But I mean, I think the most important question for your Swansea Hammerheads, having travelled to Reading, they came away with some wins, but did they also come away with a Wendy's? Because Reading is the home to the first Wendy's in the UK, and if they didn't come out of Reading with a Wendy's, then frankly they have failed.
That's a question I'm going to have to ask them. I didn't see any posts on Insta or Facebook or even Twitter. We're in Wendy's in Reading. I mean,
shameful.
That'd be my first port of call after seeing what you shared.
I think we're arranging a Primetime Streamer Network road trip to Reading just to go to the Wendy's. So if you were in Reading...
What was that burger?
That was the Triple Baconator.
Triple Baconator, that's the one.
Yeah.
Not like what you did, the Dodeca cheese run, whatever.
Exactly that. It's not quite as big as that, no. But failure.
Yes.
But thank you for the updates. Bazingle Edlam, I don't think anyone did, to be honest. You wasted your time. I know you were there for other things, but you wasted your time, guys.
Yeah,
that's
me and
a long way to go, Swansea to Reading, to not capitalise on the situation.
On Wendy's.
Poor show.
Yeah,
poor show.
I know. It's usually motorway services on an away trip. Usually,
it wasn't during the time that I was coaching. It was KFC was the choice.
Yeah, it's usually like KFC, Mackie D's, or Burger King, whatever's in the surfaces. Subway sometimes can be healthy with a Subway.
If I tried to take the team that I coached anywhere but KFC on return trips, there would be ructions, and I would have a mutiny on my hands.
Yeah,
so it wasn't worth it. Lane would like to know how our weekend is going. Mine's going very well. Having a lovely time before getting rid of the wife back to work again tomorrow. That's another story.
Mine Mine's been not too bad. I suffered with quite bad sunburn on Friday, so I'm not as red today. I've got a green light there, so I don't look so red.
You'll get no sympathy from me for sunburn because that's something that you can sort yourself out.
Well, I did put factor 50 on my face, neck, arms, and legs, and still got sunburnt.
How long were you out in the sun?
Oh, too long. Well, if you've ever been to that tourist attraction in Pembrokeshire called Folly Farm,
I have.
Then you'll know it's pretty much all outdoors apart from the fun fair.
Yeah. Well.
Yes.
A man with your complexion, with your blonde locks, with your lack of melanin, should have been topping up every 10 minutes, probably.
Absolutely. Factor 300 next time.
Hopefully that learns you. But anyway, let's crack on. Back into the NFL. It was nice to have a bit of local news, and we might have to do a kind of final score style rundown of British scores when we start to get them rolling in. Have to do your best old school posh English voice, like Swansea Hammerheads 24, Reading Devils 0.
Yeah, I don't think the Reading Devils would be too impressed with you with that score, considering they're a Premiership team.
I don't care. I'm just impressed with my impression of the final score, dude, considering I haven't heard him since I was like 4.
I know. It's not even changed. I'm pretty sure that guy, popped his clogs, yet they've replicated his voice.
It's me.
There we go.
It's my side job.
It's you. Absolutely. So yeah, good idea. We'll do a final score type thing once stuff kicks off, and I'll get teams to post their scores to me if they want to be featured on 2-minute warning at the end of the show, probably.
Sounds good.
Different feature. Anyway, we move back to the NFL, and the OTAs will be our first chance this year to assess the non-rookie quarterbacks at many teams. Question is, who are you looking forward to seeing the most? Dak Prescott, back from injury. Jimmy G, pretty much the same. James Winston, Taysom Hill, Tyrod Taylor. He's going to be in the place of Deshaun Watson, possibly. Teddy Bridgewater. There's going to be lots of names, lots of non-rookie QBs coming into the off-season program. Let's put 2 minutes on the clock and have a good old chinwag about this one.
I think the two that I'm really intrigued to see are on completely opposite ends of the spectrum. So I'm interested to see Dak Prescott back in Dallas. Mm-hmm. The question of, will things be kind of back to normal for him and that offense returning from injury? They were off to a good start until he went down with the ankle injury. And so can he just slot back in and bring the Cowboys up to being one of the best teams in that division? Certainly not the awful, atrocious team that they were last year without him around. Can he recover from that injury? That can go either way, serious injuries like that. The other is Teddy Bridgewater in Denver, because I've been waiting for him to live up to the potential that he showed in New Orleans since he was in of relief of Drew Brees a couple of seasons ago. So he'll be in competition with Drew Lock. He should be able to beat him out, but it's going to be an interesting thing to watch in Denver. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, the whole Deshaun Watson thing is kind of quieting down recently with what's happened. It's going to be interesting to see if he actually goes back to Houston and if he's actually playing. I think a lot of the trade rumours have quietened down. From what I read earlier, if he gets cut from the team, it saves Houston $10 million in cap space, which is a good chunk of money. Jimmy G will be another interesting quarterback to watch coming back to full fitness. I'm looking forward to seeing how he's throwing again, seeing how that works out for the 49ers, considering what they did during the draft.
Yeah, we seem to be all in on Jimmy G in San Francisco. I still think that there's a competition there.
Yeah.
And it could go either way, but we shall see. Moving on. This one, you sent me the article about this earlier in the week, and I did. It's intriguing, especially for me as a Chicago Bears fan. It is rumoured that they might be selling up. 2 minutes on the clock. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so this is interesting. Obviously, a developing story for the Bears, for the fans, for everybody involved in that organisation. Where what is going to be the touted financial figure on the team to be sold up? Who's going to invest in that team? What's going to happen with the whole organisation? I mean, you know a lot more about the team than I do, so I'm going to give you the floor because you know the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've had the same family of owners since the beginning, all the way back in 1920 when the team began. The Halas family are the Chicago Bears. Papa Bear George Halas passed the team to Virginia, who's now 98 years old and still in charge of the team.
Wow.
So it would be a massive thing for the Halas family to actually sell on the team. The board of directors, which is 8 people big, 5 of those are members of the McCaskey family, which is the married off side of the Halas family. So it would be a big deal. Mm-hmm. The most likely candidate, apparently, would be a billionaire called Pat Ryan. He's already a minority owner in the team, so he would have some power in saying, no, we're not selling to X, or we're not selling at all. But he's a Chicago guy. He's got a field and basketball arena named after him at Northwestern. And he's already on the board of directors, so it would be a seamless transition. But I don't understand the motivation to sell the team, really. Other than if you look at it from an investment point of view, I think when George Halas registered the Decatur Staleys, as they were in 1918, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it cost him like $200, and now the team is worth. I think the number is $3 billion. No, that can't be right. I can't remember what the exact number is, but it's an insane amount of money that they would receive. So it would be a good return on that initial investment.
Absolutely.
Just a tiny bit of profit.
just the smallest bit. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, like you said, the current owner, Virginia, being 98 years old, has been there through it all.
She attended every game, even through COVID. She's attended every game.
Yeah, so
she's hardcore.
Yeah.
Another chance for John Bon Jovi to try and fail to buy a team and move them to Canada. Well, there's always the USFL. Get one of those teams.
Could do.
He owned the Philadelphia Arena Football franchise, I believe. Can't remember what they were called. They were one of the more successful teams in that league.
You'd hate Bon Jovi to own the Bears anyway because he's a Patriots fan.
Is he? I thought he was a Jets fan.
Is. Oh, no, he's not a Jets fan. He's always at, Gillette Stadium. Not just playing his guitar. He's probably, if he's a Jets fan, that's it, he's had it.
He is, yeah, okay. I thought because he's a Jersey guy, I thought he was
Yeah,
a
he's a
Jets fan,
Pats
but he's
fan.
not. He's a Patriots
Yeah,
fan.
yeah.
And the thing that makes that even worse is he tried to buy the Bills, one of your
Yeah, he did.
main
Yes.
rivals.
Yeah, I know. Like, could have formed a really massive super team in the AFC East.
I'm sure he was in the conversation to be one of the owners of the Dolphins when they were selling in the late 2000s as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that man's got money.
Philadelphia Soul was his Arena Football League team for those interested in keeping score. There's got to be someone out there that
There we
cares.
are. Absolutely.
Let's move on.
We shall, and it involves the Washington football team and their wide receiver Terry McLaurin. That's the name of him.
That's it.
And he's already building chemistry with quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. Saying Fitz is fun. So as we head into more mandatory mini camps, which quarterback / wide receiver tandems are you looking forward to seeing on the field? 2 minutes on the clock. Let's go.
If I was still playing fantasy football, I would be interested in that Fitzpatrick and McLaurin hookup, but I'm not. So I'm not. The things I am interested in are rookies joining second-year players. So I'm very interested in the Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith relationship in Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts really needed a good receiver to kind of show what he can do. It's not something that Carson Wentz had last year. He was throwing to mostly ex-Alliance of American Football receivers as far as I can remember. So it'd be good to see what they can do together. And I'm looking forward to having Jamar Chase reunited with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. I know I wasn't a big fan of that draft when they could have picked up Penei Sewell, but it's happened now, so let's get excited about it and see what they can do together. How about you?
Yeah, I think the Joe Burrow call and Jamar Chase hooking up at the Bengals, that's a very interesting combination to see how that develops. Knowing that Cam Newton has got a full pre-season, or will have, bar the banging of bones and bruising them. Him and Kendrick Bourne, that's an interesting combination for me. They're both, both well versed in the ways of the NFL. Seeing Mac Jones potentially hooking up with some of these new receivers that have come into the Patriots. I know I'm being a bit Patriot heavy there, but yeah, it's interesting to see where these second year and rookie guys on different teams are hooking up with the passes on the field.
Bit of a selfish choice of answer for you there, but
well, I'm not used to having decent wide receivers for a very long time.
You are a Patriots fan, it stands to reason. So. Fields and Robinson should be really fun to watch, says Bazinga Ludlam. I agree. It is contingent on them giving Fields a chance to compete for that starting job, and all conversation suggests that they're not, and that it's Andy Dalton's job. But hopefully, whoever it is, Dalton or Fields, that takes the starting job, hopefully it will make Alan Robson stop whinging for just a second. He's starting to do my head in.
Yeah.
Such a moaner. Speaking of moaners, it's an unintended but useful segue to our final main topic of the day. Assistant coaches from at least 4 NFL teams who have refused to take the COVID-19 vaccine are set to lose Tier 1 status if they don't receive their first dose by the end of next week. Losing Tier 1 status would ban these coaches from the field, from meeting rooms, and for direct interactions with players. Is this fair? Should the NFL be enforcing this? 2 minutes.
Yes, and yes, and yes, yes. It is fair. And yes, the NFL should be doing this. Yes, I'm quite opinionated on the fact of the COVID vaccine. Nobody's paying for it. You're getting it for nothing. Take the blinking jab.
Take your damn medicine.
You absolutely. And I'm sick of seeing these massively some of them are overpaid tier 1 coaches, assistant coaches that have brilliant blinking jobs that, sorry, you could affect and infect a team from being a great team this coming season to what happened last season with players dropping like flies and affecting scores. That's my rant over. I can't do it. They just need to man up and take the blinking injection. What do you think?
I mean, I don't really see the excuse not to be honest. That they even have kind of an exemption list for people with, I don't even know what religion, perhaps Jehovah's Witnesses, who refuse it on religious ground, the vaccine.
Yeah.
But I've not heard of anybody refusing it on religious grounds. I think that might just be an excuse. Yeah. It's just the way things are. We're coming out of a pandemic, a global pandemic. This vaccine is finally taking us back out and back into normality. Just get the damn thing done so that you can join your teammates in training camp. If not, go and find another job for ridiculous money. You're paid way too much to be this picky about things that really don't matter. Take the vaccine, get on the field, or get out. Simple as that.
Testify to that. Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, it's fair. Simple as that. Some people don't have the luxury of a fully functioning immune system. Absolutely, yes. And while, the majority of players, were they infected with COVID, would be fine, there are cases of it affecting people adversely even in the peak of condition. It really knocked Cam Newton for 6.
Yeah.
It affected the rest of his season when he had it. So let's just not be daft about this. Yeah.
It winds me up, people refusing the COVID jab, and there's just no excuse. Like I said, it's not costing you a thing. Even in the States where they pay enormous amounts for their healthcare, it's free on US healthcare. You go to your vaccination center, you have the jab. Have two. There's a jab out there that's a single dose now. It's not like you've got to have 2 appointments to do it. So,
oh, really? Didn't know that.
Just get on with it. I don't know if it's been approved ever. I know it's not been approved in the UK, the single dose, but yeah, there is one going through late stages of clinical trials where it's a single dose. I think they'll use it on younger kids.
Yeah. That's cool. It'll be useful come, having to booster up time.
Yeah, I think that's what they're gonna try and when it comes to like your annual flu jab type thing, it's just gonna be the one shot type thing. Yeah, there we go. But that's me wound up and wound down about people not taking COVID jabs.
I mean, if there's a coach out there on any of the 32 NFL teams, on 31 of the 32 NFL teams, screw the Packers, I'm not working for you, who would like to relinquish their job to me as a fully vaccinated person, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
If you want to be
pay
selfish,
me the dollar,
then I'll even take a pay cut compared to what they're getting.
Yes.
There's somebody else that can do your job if you don't want to get jabbed in the arm. It's not difficult.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think as rightly was pointed out in the chat, you've got people that have not got a fully functioning immune system and don't have that luxury. So yeah, get on with it or else. Anyway, there we go.
try and lighten
Yes.
the conversation
Nice
to
and
the
calm
end, shall we?
now. Nice and calm now. Yeah. So, as is, and will forever be tradition on our 1 year going on past show now, we are doing start bench cut, and it just seems to get more and more difficult for me. I'm just trying to pick my brains and trying to research this. Who can I pick next for you to sweat over and look at their stats? And yeah, the players seem to get fewer and fewer, but I'm thinking the NFL's probably had millions of players. But I'm going to give you the task of choosing from 3 of who are seen to be the best in league history. And I picked wide receivers.
Okay.
So the first one is Sterling Sharpie. He was a Green Bay Packers player, 88 to 94.
I think he calls himself Sharp rather than Sharpie, but
Sharp, yeah, it is Sharp, yeah. Sorry, I'm just like trying to be French or something.
You've got shares in the permanent marker company.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'd be well away. Andre Johnson, he played for the Texans, the Colts, and the Titans between 03 and 16, and that is 2003, not 1903. And then the god of them all, as they say, Larry Fitzgerald, current Cardinals player from 04 to the present day. So yes, who out of those 3 would you start, bench, and cut?
I think the start is a fairly easy choice for me, and it's Larry Fitzgerald. The dude seems to be timeless. The idea that he is still going to this day is incredible. Okay, there's been a drop-off in his performance in the last kind of 5 years or so.
Yeah.
But he also is worth his weight in gold in what he does for the other receivers. I'm not sure that in that period from 06 through to 2010, I don't think Anquan Boldin would have been the receiver he was without being on the same team as Larry Fitzgerald. So even if I'm not actually physically starting Larry Fitzgerald, even though I've said start, I think having him on your team is just such an asset. And that's probably why the Cardinals keep him around. So he's the easy choice for start. Andre Johnson kind of started off in that kind of role. He was excellent for the Houston Texans, and was excellent for many people's fantasy teams as well. He was always one of the top 10 people to be drafted, and you wouldn't necessarily want to draft a receiver in the top 10 of your fantasy draft. There's a top tip for you. But his play did decline rapidly after he moved on. In that Colts team, he was fine, but nowhere near to the same kind of Hall of Fame caliber. And I didn't even remember he'd gone to the Titans, to be honest. So he's going to get the cut for me, I'm afraid. And Sterling Sharp, as much as he was a Packer, these were before the days of them being terribly outrageous expletives. And I really like Sterling Sharp as an analyst now. So
yes,
he can sit on the bench and talk up a storm.
Yes, and they said about Sterling Sharp is if he'd have continued longer and had Brett Favre thrown in to him for longer, what would have that done for the franchise of the Green Bay Packers in that age?
It's interesting that Sterling Sharp comes up because he's probably the closest comparison to forgotten his name, the guy that the tight end Pitts that had been
Kyle Pitts,
that's been drafted to Miami. Am I right there? Did he go to Miami in the end?
Can't think where Pitts went now.
No, he went to Atlanta.
Someone will pop up.
He went to Atlanta.
That's the one.
He was the closest comparison to the way that Kyle Pitts played, in that Sterling Sharp was kind of edging on that tight end type of player, while classified as a wide receiver. It's the other way around for Pitts. He's a tight end who's more like a receiver. But if it wasn't for the fact that he wore a Packers uniform, I might have started him over Larry Fitz, but he did, so I won't. That was a good one. Just to that one.
Justification. I liked looking at those stats for those three as well, which was interesting.
There's no set criteria as to why I should choose these people. It's my opinion, and
absolutely,
I'm not starting a Packer. It's that simple. It doesn't matter who they are. And there is our show. It's another Sunday in the books. Now, I need to check the schedule going forward and know whether we are coming back in a week or a fortnight. I need to check the motorsport schedule and see when the evening races are. Make sure we don't clash. But you can join our Discord page, server, whatever you want to call it, to keep getting updates as to when we go live and any other of the wonderful people in the Primetime Streamer Network. Or you can follow me on social media, at The Jez Show on Facebook and Twitter. Where can they find you on social media, Matthew?
Usually on... I just tend to use my Insta for this, which is 2MWMatt_IG. So, that's kind of what I use it for. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lovely. Right. Then we shall depart with another episode of 2 Minute Warning under our belts. And I'm going to find somebody to raid. So stay tuned, and we'll take you off on a merry journey across the Twitchverse. If you're listening to this in podcast form, don't worry, just sit there and the podcast will end and nothing will happen. Until next time, I've been Jez. That's been Matt. Say goodbye, Matt.
Goodbye, Matt.